This is Andy Perrault for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm joined by promoter Frank Warren. Frank, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Andy. How are you, son?
I'm all good, thank you. Obviously, as always, it's good to hear that you are doing well. We're only a matter of a couple of days away now from Daniel Dubois returning to the ring once again. Back at Royal Albert Hall, how does it feel to put another show back there so quickly, Frank?
I'm delighted. We had such a good show there last time, terrific response from it, and it's great to go back. A venue in central London that creates so much atmosphere.
What is it about Royal Albert Hall that feels so special to yourself?
Well, I grew up watching fights there when I was a kid, all the way through, but more importantly, the atmosphere. It's just such an atmospheric venue. When you've got a good fight on there or a good show in there, as I keep saying, it's like a posh York Hall. Everybody gets enjoyment from it. They're all on top of it. It's not a bad seat in the house. So hopefully that's going to be the situation on Friday.
Hopefully it is, Frank. Let's just try and work through the cards, starting off with Daniel Dubois, going in with Ebenezer Tete. Just talk to me about the decision to make that fight, Frank.
Well, the decision was he wanted to fight for the Commonwealth belt, and he's the guy that's who he's got to get through to win the belt. So he's won the British, he's won various other belts, but he's won the British, he wants to add the Commonwealth, and obviously go for European and a world title. So this is a very important fight for him to achieve his dreams. And old Ebenezer's in the way, and he's got to get him out of the way.
We've previously seen what Richard Lartey can do, obviously from the same neck of the woods as what Ebenezer Tete is. Are you expecting that same type of fighter come fight night?
Look, he's a puncher. He comes to fight. I hope he's that type of fighter because it was exciting, wasn't it? And if he comes to fight, then that's going to be entertaining for the fans. And you know, Daniel's learned it quite a bit more since then, working hard with Martin Bowers in the gym, and also from the fights that he's had. You know, that was a big fight for him against Nathan, which he came through okay. So this is yet another step up the ladder for him.
Provided obviously everything goes to plan on Friday night and Daniel's successful, he picks up that Commonwealth belt, British and Commonwealth champion. Also just beaten Nathan Gorman in his last bout. A lot of hype was always around him. After that victory, it increased even more. How do you feel you can see his career playing out in the coming months and the next year or so?
Well, if he comes through okay, and I don't want to tempt fate, if he comes through, we'd like to get him out again before the end of the year.
What level of opposition do you see him going in with? Obviously, a lot of fans would have liked to have probably seen him in with someone who they know. Obviously, Ebenezer Tete is an unknown quantity over here. Is the plan to maybe throw him in with more of a heavyweight to unknown on these shores?
Well, they didn't know Yarde, did they? But it was a bloody good fight. So, and people didn't know Wallin when he was fighting Tyson Fury, but it was a good fight. These guys are big guys. They all know what's on the line. They know that they got a chance to get themselves into the big time, and Tete will be no different. He's fighting for a recognised belt, very important belt as far as he's concerned and us. So he comes through that, and then we'll look and see who's around for his 14th fight as a pro.
Moving on to Nicola Adams, she defends her WBO World Flyweight title. Just talking about Celine Hassan, what are you expecting in that bout?
Well, she's been out for a while, so what I'm expecting is her to come in, get the ring rust out of her system, hopefully defend her title, and then we can get her into a unification fight. But she's going to have it all to do. She's going to have it all to do. I think it's going to be a tough fight for her, but hopefully, as I say, she'll come through it, and then she can move on and fight more regularly, because that's what we want to happen for her.
Now, obviously, I know you was originally looking. That's all right, Frank. I know you was obviously originally looking to make a unification bout for Nicola for this card. What happened in the end with that?
Well, the girl who was going to fight, I think it's the IBF champion, was injured and not available, so that was beyond our control. So she's defending her title.
Moving away from Nicola and on to Archie Sharp. Archie Sharp returning once again. How excited are you with how he's developed over his past 8 or so months, or ever since that Woodstock victory?
Well, he's gone from strength to strength, and he's got a tough fight, by the way, on Friday. I'm looking forward to that fight. Be interesting, but he's a fantastic fighter. He's really enjoying himself, and we've kept him very busy. And hopefully he'll come through this one and we get him into a bigger fight next year. But it's going to be a tough fight for him. I think it's going to be a really good crowd-pleasing fight.
You have a lot of very talented fighters at super featherweight, Frank. You've got the likes of Sam Bowen, Archie Sharp, Zelfa Barrett, etc. How do you think it would play out with trying to make maybe Archie Sharp versus Sam Bowen? How far away do you think that fight is?
Sam Bowen's got a defence of his title that he's got to have, and he'll have it this year. We're announcing that next week, and then hopefully next year when all these, we can get all these guys fighting each other. That's what we intended to do. That's what we want to do. Find out who's the best, then put the best in a position where he can fight from challenge for a world title.
I just wanted to move away from this card, Frank, just get your thoughts on a couple of things. Kid Galahad's been granted a final eliminator for Josh Warrington's IBF title once again. What are your thoughts on that decision?
I can't swear on air. Well, my thoughts on it, he's been given that despite the fact that he's coming off a loss. I don't know what to think about. I'm not really interested in him or his fight. Let them get on with that. In the meantime, all I'm interested in is Josh's fight on the 12th. He's fighting a guy who's ranked above Kid Galahad, and he's got to come through that. And then I'm looking to make a unification fight for him. That's all I care about.
How difficult do you think you're going to find it trying to make that unification bout, given how difficult it was to try and do so for this fight before Takeuch was announced?
Well, I don't know. We've got to just keep working it. The thing is that Santa Cruz didn't want to fight him. We made him a big offer to come to the UK. Didn't want to fight him. I think that's after the fight he had with Cole Frampton. And Carl himself said he's a better fighter that Josh is a better fighter than Santa Cruz. So I think that frightened him off. And Valdez, we sodded around for quite a few months trying to do it, and eventually he just went up a weight division. We'll see what happens.
Now, obviously, we also, a matter of a week or two since the Fury-Wallin, had time to reflect, Frank. Your thoughts now that the dust seems to have settled?
Well, my thoughts are that Tyson done a tremendous job being handicapped very early on in the fight with two terrible cuts that were impeding his vision. He done a fantastic job to come through that, winning on the scorecards, the judges' scorecards, despite, as I say, all that blood in his eye impairing his vision. He'd done a tremendous job.
John Fury had some comments to say about the setup in and around Tyson, his son. What did you make of those comments, Frank?
Look, as his dad, he's entitled to say what he's got to say. That's up to him.
What is the plan with Tyson? And obviously, that Wilder rematch you're looking for early next year. Do you think that the cuts have kind of delayed that, or do you think that there's still a possibility it will be for those original dates?
No one knows what's going to happen until probably 7 weeks' time at least, to see how the cut heals. And it's silly speculating about that until you see how it is. Who knows what it's going to be? If the cut, which the doctors said wasn't, although they were quite deep, they were quite long and deep lacerations. He said they were not jagged and they should heal well. So if they do heal well, then hopefully it shouldn't stop the fight from happening. But in the meantime, you've got Deontay's got to fight Ortiz, and we'll see what happens with that one. All these fights that everybody keeps thinking are just going to be knockover jobs are all turning out to be tough fights at the moment for the heavyweights.
And finally, obviously it's been a while since Anthony Yarde was unsuccessful in his bout against Sergey Kovalev. Early days yet, but have you had a discussion with him as to what the next move will be?
I spoke with him over the weekend. He's going on holiday, and when he comes back, we're going to sit down with the team and we'll go through it and see where, when he wants to fight. And when he wants to fight, we'll get him out.
Frank Warren, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you for speaking to myself on Boxing Social.
Yeah, man. All the best, Andy.